is to decline around the world, a new report says. How about that?
Internet freedom is declining around the world.
It
doesn't surprise me. The internet kind of sprang up, and governments didn't know what to do about it.
You got it.
And then they're like, oh, there's bad things happening here, and so the crackdown has to occur. Now, of course, the government will get all the tyrannical things it wants.
You bet.
While it addresses the issues that all of us care about on the internet. I mean, there's certainly bad things that happen on the internet, right?
Yeah, they've got to throw a few nuggets our way so we don't complain too loudly.
Right.
Hey, look, we solved this problem for you. The byline here is governments are reigning in liberty for the 8th consecutive year, Freedom House reports. Digital authoritarianism is on the rise, according to a new report from a group that monitors internet freedoms. Freedom House, a pro-democracy think tank, said today that governments are seeking more control over users' data while also using laws nominally intended to address, quote, fake news, unquote, to suppress dissent. It marks the 8th consecutive year that Freedom House found a decline in online freedoms around the world.
Okay. Any idea what these online freedoms are that are declining?
It discusses them.
Okay.
But I think, freedom of the press, I think, is going to be way up there. That would be my best guess, because you just had, Facebook and Twitter, at least Facebook, shut down 800
pages claiming they were for spamming or unnatural associations between the pages, but we know that some of those were not spamming or unnatural. They were political in nature, and
sure,
and
well, they weren't mainstream.
Now, and Facebook
political.
also has a history of taking stuff down at the request of governments.
Yes, and they're taking stuff down just at the requests of trolls.
Right.
I mean, Free Talk Live had its Facebook page banned, and I believe that ban resulted in 30 days or a week or 30 days of suspension of all the hosts, not the one who shared the thing, but everybody who was an editor and whatever, admin on the page,
right,
for sharing, get this, a Facebook page. What? A Facebook page in good standing. A Facebook page that was not banned as a result of it.
It remained in good standing.
Right.
This is insanity.
And I didn't see any opportunity to appeal. I've heard that there's an appeals process now. I don't know that that there was at the time. I can't really address the issue, but judge, jury, and executioner, some poorly paid wombat from nowhere just goes and okay, there's a woman in a bikini here.
Yeah.
And what it was the Gold Coast Meter Maids. This is a
I remember.
Group of
Australian.
Yeah,
meter
beautiful
maids.
Women in bikinis that run around in a particular area of Australia, and they feed the meters.
Yeah, they were Robin Hooding, to use New Hampshire terminology.
Right. They are not paid by the government.
Right.
They just go around and feed the meters. And the reason they do it is that the surf shops and the ice cream parlors and the T-shirt shacks and these kinds of things that are in this particular area want people to park. They don't want people to get tickets. So they use as just sort of their shtick, right? They've got these gals that go around and they feed the meters.
And, they're going around like not very heavily dressed because Australia is hot and they're on a beach on the Pacific Ocean. The Gold Coast is on eastern Australia. You've got right there on the ocean.
South of Sydney, right?
It's hot and it's humid,
right?
Which is unusual for Australia. But so you have to do something.
I think it's great, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. What's interesting though is, and you may have noticed if you've ever frequented Free Talk Live's Facebook page, I mean, we're
at facebook.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, we're just not nearly as active there as we used to be. We've moved on to other platforms.
I've got posters, so what I do is I have outgoing posts, usually news-oriented things that are kind of the libertarian version of News of the Weird, things that are just concerned. If you want to be on Facebook, Free Talk Live's got a big Facebook page with 90,000 likes on it, and we're outward facing. We've got something going on. We don't recommend Facebook. We think that it is
terrible.
Yeah, we don't think that this is a very good corner of the internet. But I understand. I do post pictures of family and friends. There. I don't post any pictures of my home because pictures have sort of GPS coordinates in them and that sort of thing. So,
They do.
If I post a picture of my house, then people know where it is. Well, why would you do that to your family?
You wouldn't. But, Facebook is fun to go on there and just reshare all the memes and the fun images
there's cool
and
stuff.
Chat with people. But if that's all you do, fine. If you try to do something else like organize or what have you, then Facebook is eventually going to crack down on you.
Right. As far as libertarian activism organization, it's terrible. Ian says that there's just so many other things that are better. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time doing that. Basically, what I do on Facebook is I post a few things. I look at some people's posts, and I generally tell people with political opinions that are wrong, they're wrong. And then I realize, oh my God, I've wasted 2 hours talking to somebody who's not going to change their mind.
Of course not.
Oh my God, I can't go to bed yet. Someone's wrong on the internet.
If they called in, at the very least, one of us would we would understand what each other's position was, rather than calling each other Nimrods and ne'er-do-wells, all over the internet. We'd at least understand what each other's opinions are, and we'd, come to some kind of agreement. Maybe one person would convince the other. I recently had this going on with one of these people that claims that voting is immoral. Mm-hmm. And God, I don't know why I fall for it all the time, because this is the most, to me, libertarianism is a movement of logic, of reason, and most importantly, a moral movement. When we use the pretense of logic and reason to claim that something is immoral, and it isn't, I find that to be, really bad. You can go ahead and say voting's immoral, but please don't use any of the terms that associate liberty with it. Don't use voluntarist, don't use libertarian, don't use any of these things. Look, you don't want to vote? Fine. Don't vote. You think voting's yucky? Well, go ahead and tell me the reasons that you think voting's yucky. But if you think voting's immoral, you've just made a positive claim, and positive claims require such and such. And by the way, claiming that voting is violence against your neighbor is not a claim against morality. Using a gun to shoot a robber is violence,
right?
But it is not immoral.
True.
Okay. Now, you can claim it's an initiation of force, but at that point, you're going to have to prove that it's an initiation of force. And I got news for you. The vote is scheduled. It's going to happen on November the 6th.
Whether we like it or not. It's going to occur
whether you like it or not.
Yep.
That's not an initiate. I did not initiate the vote. The vote's going to occur.
Right. And it will be interesting. Is it going to be the blue wave, or will the red wave fight back?
I don't think. Well, the statistical likelihood of what's going to occur is that you will see some seats taken by the Democrats.
Yep, absolutely.
And I can tell you the Democrats really believe they've got something going here.
They think they've got the whole thing wrapped up. They're going to take control.
But a lot of people vote their pocketbooks.
I'm not sure.
That's true.
Yeah, and their pocketbooks are better off with a Trump tax cut.
Indeed.
855-450-3733. Free Talk Live. That's 855-450-FREE.
This November, I'm running the New York City Marathon as a member of Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. 2018 has been a banner year for the Innocence Project. Since January, 9 of their clients have walked free. Innocent people who combined to serve more than 200 years in prison for crimes they did not commit. And because of the Innocence Project, the risk of being wrongfully convicted has been greatly reduced for millions of people. October 2nd is International Wrongful Conviction Day. It's an opportunity to draw attention to the countless innocent men and women who remain behind bars and the need to reform our broken criminal justice system to prevent wrongful convictions. At any given time, the Innocence Project represents 200 clients who need their help to prove their innocence. This year, the Innocence Project helped pass a first-in-the-nation prosecutorial oversight law in New York and eyewitness identification reforms in New Hampshire and Louisiana. You can help the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. anypay.global.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live.
The TSA increasing the invasiveness of their pat downs. They're no longer going to use the backsides of their hands. They're going to be touching
Now
you.
they're going to be grabbing it full
That's
on.
right, all over. And
what is their justification for this? I've heard this, but
that's all the terrorism that's been happening. That
why do they have to use the front of their hands now?
Well,
was there an event? Did they use a certain event where something got through that they would have felt if they'd used the front of their hands instead of the back of their hands?
They just want to encourage you to go through the new sniffing device.
What's going to be their explanation when they have to use their penis to pat you down? What is their justification going to be then? My hands aren't sensitive enough to catch everything.
Well, it's not like you can read Braille with that thing, my friend.
So your lips are very sensitive. You have a lot of nerve endings in your lips. So when the hands are no longer good enough.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Live Thursday night edition. It's Mark with you.
Michael.
And Chris.
You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about declining internet freedoms here on Free Talk Live. Doesn't mean you've got to talk about that, but you are certainly welcome to. A couple of methods for calling in on Free Talk Live. You can use the telephone. I'm sure you've heard of this device. And you just call 855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free as in freedom, or you can use our Discord call-in lines. We have 3 of them, and they sound awesome. You go to discord.freetalklive.com. That's discord.freetalklive.com. You download the app, preferably on your phone. If you do it on your laptop, you're going to need a headset and mic device. You know, many of you have those. But nonetheless, there'll be an echo otherwise. So there you go. That's discord.freetalklive.com.
Yes, we've been discussing this story from The Verge, and it's really talking about a report that came out from Freedom House, a pro-democracy think tank that takes a look every year at how we're doing in keeping our liberties when in our online worlds, and they have found that for the 8th consecutive year, found a decline in online freedoms around the world. Quote, "The clear emergent theme in this report is the growing recognition that the internet, once seen as a liberating technology, is increasingly being used to disrupt democracies as opposed to destabilizing dictatorships," unquote, said Michael Abramowitz, president of Freedom House, in a call with reporters. Quote, "Propaganda and disinformation are increasingly poisoning the digital sphere, and authoritarians and populists are using the fight against fake news as a pretext to jail prominent journalists and social media critics. often through laws that criminalize the spread of false information, unquote. In the United...
This is the danger of the fake news legislation that is a possibility out there, is that if you outlaw fake news, and look, I've been caught by some of these news stories that say, grandma takes down 5 burglars with her sawed off or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, grandma, go.
And it turns out to be
it's just
fake.
A story. It's fiction that somebody put on the internet, and they knew that they could write a compelling story, and they took that angle, and it was got lots of shares, and I liked it, and whoops, it's not true. Sad.
Yeah, well, sadly,
I'm so ready to share that on Free Talk Live.
I think it is somewhat of a statement on our gullibility.
I think that to some extent, like there's the level of gullibility, no doubt, but is it possible that a homeowner takes out burglars with a shotgun? Sure. Could that homeowner be 80 and a woman? Sure.
Sure, yeah, it's plausible.
No doubt there. And before these things were kind of kept on the grocery store checkout, it was the Weekly World News and things like that. And then we had the Onion, the Onion online, where you saw completely preposterous things. And then I noticed all these sort of Onion-like websites that started, World Weekly Daily News or something like that.
Babylon Bee.
Right, but not even those, but the ones that almost told like a story that was written so well that it could be...
The intention is to look like a news site.
Oh, like the Inquisitor.
Fake weather.
Possibly,
everything on the page to look as much like a news site as possible, because they were, in fact, fake news with the intention of getting spread around. People know that you'll read an Onion article, you'll chuckle, and you'll go on. But if you see an article that has this outrageous news story on it, and it's just too amazing to believe, but it's news. You share it, and then you got to go on Facebook, and then somebody's like, "Hey man, here's your Snopes article." Ping.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here's your daily internet demerit.
Sorry, that news article was wrong. It was fake.
Yeah, but I think that led a lot of people in politics to say, okay, people really are gullible, and whether things are true or not, they'll spread them around for us. And if we're trying to push a agenda, you can do that with fake news as easily as you can do it with real news.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
This article continues. In the United States...
Take a look at Fox, MSN. You pick your slanted news. You can do it with real news.
Oh, yeah. These days you don't even need fake news. You can spin the real news.
Yeah, all you have to do is take your news and then the speculation that surrounds that news and put that on a channel, and then forget the news that is, counter to your point.
Right.
You've already got it.
Sure.
Just watch.
In the United States, internet freedoms declined in 2018 due to the Federal Communications Commission's repeal of net neutrality rules. Other countries fared much worse. 17 out of 65 surveyed had adopted laws restricting online media. Of those, 13 prosecuted citizens for allegedly spreading false information. And more countries are accepting training and technology from China, which Freedom House described as an effort to export a system of censorship and surveillance around the world.
Right. I went from a Google fan to, or a fan might be a stretch, but a Google
user,
a positive feeling about Google,
right,
to a negative one surrounding their coupling with China. Look, I don't hate China or anything, but I understand that they very clearly stifle people's opinions, and many of those opinions suck. I don't
hate the Chinese people at all. I have no reason to, but I despise the Chinese government. I despise socialism.
Well,
and that's what it represents.
They don't have socialism.
No, it's the Chinese government is closer to fascist.
You can call it what you like, but they have a heavy socialist state. They have a nanny state. They've got
an authoritarian state. There's no doubt.
Yeah, you call it whatever you want, but it is a branch of socialism, and we can talk their etymology at some point.
Yeah, so when Google went to bed with went into bed with them and said, "Well, we're going to try to work with the Chinese." Well, the Chinese are going to they're going to manipulate you. You're not going to manipulate them, and that's where Google stopped the whole. And then I realized at that point, once they I read that news story, they dropped the "Don't be evil" tag from their byline, and that's
that's been gone for a while.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Was it coincidental?
Well,
you got two big stories coming out of Google.
Once you say something like,
right,
don't be evil as your byline, you're stuck with it. Or when you drop it, it just says to people, well, we've decided to be evil. and then you team up with the biggest, most powerful, fascist state on the planet or socialist state on the planet. Well, yeah, that's a problem.
It is, and it's a shame. Of course, there are trade-offs between freedom and security. The report is critical of Sri Lanka and India, which have periodically shut down or limited access to the internet in response to the outbreak of ethnic and religious conflict. In both cases, citizens were being murdered by mobs that had encountered misinformation spread through social media. Cutting off internet service is a draconian response, particularly at a time when citizens may need it the most, whether to dispel rumors, check in with loved ones, or avoid dangerous areas, said Adrian Shabazz, research director for technology and democracy. While deliberately falsifying content is a genuine problem, some governments are increasingly using fake news as a pretense to consolidate their control over information and suppress dissent.
So do you think freedoms are being stifled on the internet? And the number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if the social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's rightsocial.net.
Rightsocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
Rightsocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
Rightsocial.net, the right place to be.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you can go this way? You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey, what do you think Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait
Now.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, Thursday night edition. Mark with you.
Michael.
And Chris.
Just call in, talk about what you want. Here on this live edition, we're discussing declining internet freedoms. Speaking of freedom, freedom's probably the most important thing that Free Talk Live talks about. We consider it a driving force here behind the show. And people who are concerned with freedom, libertarians, they've been asking us for many years for a directory of liberty-minded businesses. So we're helping to build one. It's liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content. Listings can be rated and reviewed. There's a bit of a social network so that you can connect and share with others. Use of liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. You can put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu. Use code FTL. You get a special badge. That's liberty.menu.
And we've been discussing this story from The Verge, which is discussing a story, basically a report put out by Freedom House on internet freedoms around the world. There's a quote in this story which is unattributed, but I think is perfect. It says, propaganda and disinformation are increasingly poisoning the digital sphere, and authoritarians and populists are using the fight against fake news as a pretext to jail prominent journalists, unquote. Isn't that a great quote? I mean, that's exactly what this is about. To me, it's an attack on freedom of speech and journalism and things like that.
I'd like
there
to
is
point
no
out,
attribution in here as to who said that.
Look, it's easy to go after countries that jail journalists and stifle journalism and freedom of the press and these sorts of things when you consider that the United States has the First Amendment, which protects freedom of speech.
In theory.
In theory.
However, when you realize that the freedom of the press, when they do ratings of these things, the last time I looked, the United States came up number 43. And
you got it.
In a world full of socialist countries, or so I'm told, right? Like every country in Europe, socialists, dirty, stinking pinkos, right?
Right.
And you would think that those countries would be, I don't know, farther down the list. But no, the United States really, who should be at number one with the highest law in the land, the First Amendment to the highest law of the land, ensconcing freedom of the press as, very important. It doesn't say largely freedom of the press or anything like that. It says freedom of the press. If you can publish Hustler, then you should be able to pretty much do anything out there. But somehow or another, the United States is coming in at number 43. You can go ahead and you can say that's because journalists who hate America put the list together, whatever. You should do your research before you come up with your opinion. But that's not really the way we do things anyway.
You're
not here in America anymore.
Shall not be infringed.
Fake news, Mark. Fake news. 43. That's what you're alleging.
America's number 40. Why do you hate America?
No, I'm looking at a U.S. News and World Report that's talking about this. You're saying 43.
That's what I said previously.
Fake news, Mark.
Where are we at? 72?
We're at 45 now. We've dropped 2 points since it was last 43.
Yep.
43. is the good old days.
Yeah, 43 is the good old days. Well, the United States is sliding down the Heritage Foundation and the Cato Institute and several of the Free the World charts as far as economic freedom goes. It's never shown up in the top 10 as far as social freedoms since somebody's had a list like that. And admittedly, I think social freedoms is a much more difficult list to put together. It's not what I consider most important.
Yeah.
I'd rather be able to open a business and not have to pay a whole bunch in taxes rather than running around with a tutu smoking pot.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways you can categorize this stuff and so many different groups. Some are, more, in modern terminology, liberal groups, conservative groups, libertarian groups, and things like that. So everybody's going to have their own unique spin. What I don't think any of them disagree on is that the United States has slid dramatically from where it was 25, 30 years ago.
If the United States was number one, you wouldn't have to make America great again.
Right.
Exactly.
It's tacit acknowledgement.
That's exactly it. The report also found governments in 18 countries increased state surveillance between June 2017 and now, with 15 considering new, quote, data protection, unquote, laws, which can require companies to store user data locally and potentially make it easier for governments to access.
Now, I'd like to address this for a second. So the government passes a law, says that a data company needs to store your information for X period of time, right?
Sure.
There's, in the 13th Amendment, I think 13th and 14th Amendments, but I think it's 13th, that says there should be no involuntary servitude.
Okay.
And the idea there is that you can't have a slave. But when you say to somebody, look, you're allowed to do business at our pleasure. And if you're going to do business, part of our pleasure is that you hold a bunch of data.
Right.
That we should be holding ourselves. And you're going to have to do some police work that we should be doing and, these kinds of things. Well, that's the government's there to do police work. The government, if in doing this police work, needs to store data,
right?
Then buy your own damn servers, you stinking bureaucrats.
Right.
I mean, look, how many servers do I have to have for my company? How much data do I have to hold for the state in order for, if the state comes along and hands me a subpoena, that I just hand information over to them?
Michael, you're a former IT guy.
No, I'm a current IT
You're
guy.
Current IT. That's an even better way to put it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Michael, don't you do something with Free Talk Live's IT?
I do a lot of stuff with Free Talk Live's IT.
Besides something, could you just tell me what that is?
The website, a couple of the call-in lines over there behind you.
Yeah, you got a VoIP line thing.
VoIP line thing, right? And a couple other things. One of these servers over here in the corner.
Blinking box.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever work in healthcare in the last 10 years
Fortunately,
or so?
I have not, but I have heard some horror stories.
Yeah, but I did. I worked in healthcare and I worked in financial services, and I witnessed, coming from the 90s into the 2000s and the 2010s, such an expansion of data requirements, not because we felt that we needed to keep the data, but because government told us in different industries, you must keep the data.
Yeah, and then how you must keep the data and all those other things, too.
Right. Not always. It was surprisingly vague in almost everything it would do, which
until
meant
they demanded it in a certain format or whatever piece of information. So
HIPAA's classic for that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Suddenly we want this piece of information. Well, we have the data. Here's a reams and reams and reams worth of data. Go and find it yourself. No, that's not how we do this. We enslave businesses to do these things for us, and this is what I'm sort of talking about here. Is that the 13th Amendment says no involuntary servitude.
Oh, I agree with you completely, Mark.
But
because I've been on the receiving end of that stuff.
These regulations are involuntary servitude. The government doesn't say, all right, well, telemarketing, Intel companies, you have to keep this data, and here's a check for all the server space
right.
and the employees that service the service space. You're like, oh, that's crazy. They would never do anything like that.
No.
Because it is already understood that you are their serf, ladies and gentlemen. You are their serf. And that you're not asking any questions about it? Well, the serfs didn't ask any questions either. They just handed over a portion of their grain. Because if they didn't, they'd have their head lopped off right in the middle of the Bailey.
And there's no possible way you could know. You don't know that you're not doing it the way the government wants you to do it until you don't do it the way the government wants you to do it.
And
that's
come after
how it
you.
Works. Right, and they come after you.
And that's part of the reason, since you mentioned the Free Talk Live website, that we've had it outside the U.S. for the last couple of years.
Right.
Oh, we're outside the U.S.?
Yeah, since about 2015, 16.
What communist dictatorship are we hosting ourselves in?
Right.
Quebec.
Well, they do have a very socialist maple syrup subsidy program going on up there, so I'm not happy.
That Canadian swill. The White Mountain State is the only syrup that you should consume, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah, well, there is a maple syrup rivalry, but I don't think that New Hampshire is really considered much in it. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, or you can use the Discord lines. Find them at discord.freetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours, ld2coin.io.
Hello, this is Dr. Bill Deagle, MD of NutriMedical.com, announcing the breakthrough Red Deer Velvet DR. It delivers the protected building blocks of all organs and tissues, allowing your own stem cells as architects and engineers to regenerate you. Not since fetal life, when aging does not occur, has such an amazing NutriMed been available to help heal you and regenerate you. Anti-aging requires that you correct mineral, activated nutraceutical, and jump the gene defects and poor diet you have to deliver the cellular tools for regeneration. You must remove old damaged cells and replace them with your young healthy cells to wind the biological clock to a younger you. Order your Red Deer Velvet DR now at NutriMedical.com 24/7 or 888-212-8871. That's NutriMedical, N-U-T-R-I, Medical, MEDICAL.com, or call our order line 888-212-8871.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Talk Live, the live Thursday edition of the show. It is Mark with you.
And Michael.
And Chris.
The number is 855-450-3733. Talking about, well, declining internet freedom, the U.S. tumbling down, the world's freedom charts. You call in about what you want. The number 855-450-3733. Chris, you had a little more on this?
Just very little. Two short little paragraphs. Governments in 32 countries used paid commentators, bots, and trolls in an effort to manipulate online conversations. WhatsApp and other closed message apps are becoming more popular targets for manipulation, the authors write. And these are the authors of Freedom House's report on declining internet freedoms around the world. And there were few bright spots. The authors credit Armenian citizens' use of social media communication apps and live streaming services for making possible a peaceful revolution earlier this year. And in Ethiopia, a new prime minister released bloggers and activists from prison and pledged to ease restrictions on online communication.
Well, that's good news, at least.
There we go. Got some journalists no longer in the pokey.
I can tell you that a couple of one of the major things that kind of sticks out of my mind about press freedom here in the U.S. is, like, for instance, people quoting song lyrics that are threatening,
right,
on Facebook, right? So, I mean, any of us who grew up in the 80s, probably the 70s,
yep.
Think about I Shot the Sheriff for a Minute, I suppose, could be considered if you just put the lyrics up and didn't know what the song was. And I don't know, it's pretty incoherent. But anyway, there's a level of rebellion to it.
Certainly.
There's a confession to a crime.
Yeah, but I didn't shoot the deputy.
Right.
So give me points for that.
Right.
It wasn't like it was a mass killing spree of law enforcement. I just shot the sheriff.
So, somebody could choose to interpret that. And then there's a whole bunch of other songs out there. You get into the, the more violent punk and death metal stuff and, the hardcore hip hop. These kind of things are going to have lots and lots of violence in them.
Right.
And, somebody posts that on Facebook, and we've got stories. People went to jail over that.
Yep.
Don't forget, when I was a kid, they didn't allow NWA to play concerts in certain cities.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Some police departments are like, oh, you want to write a song called F the Police? Well, F you. You're not playing in Madison, Wisconsin, or wherever it is. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I don't
remember exactly what cities either, but I do remember that.
I'm sure if somebody could get me an interview with Ice Cube, he'd let us know.
He would. He certainly would. Yeah, it's a shame, and the thing is, this to me just exemplifies why it's so important to defend your rights. And it's not the job. It's not some ancient piece of paper written in 1789 that's going to do it for you. You can't trust the government to actually follow the Constitution, which is supposed to be the laws that it is supposed to follow.
Right.
It is the law of the land, but you can't trust it.
The reason the Constitution was written was because the founders understood that government grows into these particular areas.
That they were shooting to avoid that.
Right. They didn't write that you're allowed to wear polka dot shoes.
Right.
Because governments generally didn't go into those areas. But they did write things about press and religion, freedom, and at one point there was also no direct tax written in.
Yes.
All kinds of things written in the Constitution. Now, that got pushed through in the 16th Amendment. Some would argue that the amendment shouldn't have been ratified. Whatever. Didn't get ratified properly. I don't know the specifics. I can tell you that war has long since been lost, though.
Yep.
And, you got to look at these things. You cannot trust the government, even if it has a piece of paper that says that you're supposed to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Well, you clearly can't.
The Soviets had a piece of paper that said you couldn't do X, Y, and Z, but they did.
The North Koreans have one hell of a constitution.
Don't they? You and I mean, we both read that.
You read it. I don't know anything about it. You told me, and I believe you.
Well, yeah. I mean, anybody who wants to look at a great constitution, something that protects virtually every possible right you can imagine, read North Korea's constitution because it has one. What good does it do?
None.
Of course. But the responsibility isn't in the hands of government to police itself. The responsibility is in each one of us to do what we feel is most prudent to defend our own rights. And sometimes that means it's a bit of activism. Sometimes it's a bit of defiance. Sometimes it's just reaching out and talking to other people and seeing, hey, are you bothered by this too? I think that's where we have to go.
Yeah, I was listening to the news. Trump said that he's going to put some troops on the border to protect against this wave of, 10,000 or whatever immigrants that want jobs.
I don't know how many there are.
The numbers have varied, but thousands, no doubt. By the way, when you start spreading that over counties in the United States, it's like one person per county. Nonetheless, I'm not saying they should come in. I'm just saying, anybody remember Posse Comitatus?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember? I know George Bush got rid of it and everything, but we got to keep mentioning that at one time here in the United States, it was illegal that a chief executive was unable. Now, mind you, when you make something illegal for a chief executive, it doesn't matter because they can do it anyway. But it was illegal for a chief executive to deploy United States regular troops on U.S. soil. Now, governors could use National Guard and that kind of thing, but no troops on U.S. soil. Well, nobody's mentioning that that's what's happening here because they're not going to post them on Mexican soil, I can tell you that.
Right, and I brought that up and had some discussions about Posse Comitatus. I mean, the feeling was, and I think, and I'm just going to sort of speculate and go from memory, but the origins of Posse Comitatus were British soldiers trying to enforce the King's Law on Americans before the Revolutionary War, and that's what they were opposed against.
My understanding of Posse Comitatus, and I could be totally wrong about this, is that the military was not supposed to be doing domestic law enforcement.
Yes, and that's where I was trying to go with that. And if you read the press releases that are coming out of Mattis and coming out of the White House and things like that, they keep saying things like these are providing administrative assistance to the Department of Homeland Security. It's like they don't come out and say, we're down there to round up a bunch of brown people that may be coming this way.
Yeah.
So what they're going to do is kind of skirt this whole thing on a technicality.
I think that's what they're trying to do, or at least lay the groundwork, put the first coat on the wall and hope nobody notices.
Well, they start with the most technical of technicalities, and then they just sort of peel off little bits of technicalities as time goes by.
Right.
And pretty soon you've got some 19-year-old crew cut moron standing with an M16 on your corner.
Right.
Just keeping the peace.
Exactly.
What's the problem? Don't you like the peace, you communist POS?
Right. And it amazes me, and this has been, I've been involved in the Republican Party since I was 18 years old. I've been involved in patriot movements and Oath Keepers and lots of organizations like that, and it's these same people, who have professed for years how important the Constitution is and why it must be protected and defended, who are openly supporting, left and right, a president who has no use for it whatsoever.
Yeah. I kind of like the Oath Keeper guys. I kind of like some of the the lefty organizations when some of the things they do too.
Sure.
I'm just, when you're out there advocating for longer leashes and more slowly raising the temperature on the boiling water, you're not really doing it for me.
Oh, by no means do I jump out there and say I'm advocating Oath Keepers, or I'm no longer a part of the organization.
Yeah,
I got to know a lot of those types back then.
I'm not against them or anything like that. I appreciate. I can talk to people like that with a certain level of ease, but there's much farther to go, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And your memes about how the military is keeping us free.
That's a funny one.
Well, and right now, this is the same group that's posting all the memes about the brown horde that's infiltrated by Al-Qaeda and ISIS and everything else.
Right.
So you're not doing yourself any favors, especially when you're talking about doing away with things like posse comitatus and when you're advocating for closed borders. I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd be opening up welcome centers in anticipation of these guys getting here. What are you good at? Let's find you something to do.
Yeah, well, let the private companies handle that, as far as I'm concerned. As far as all I care about, they don't cost me anything in tax money.
Right.
They don't commit crime. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. What are your thoughts about the brown horde? Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,228 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,343. Antiwar.com reports in what appears to be the start of a challenge to the rule of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. His exiled uncle, Prince Ahmed bin Abdulaziz, has reportedly returned to Saudi Arabia from the United Kingdom this week. Prince Ahmed, the younger brother of King Salman, called his nephew toxic in the wake of the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and Saudi sources say he intends to return to challenge the Crown Prince on that basis. Reports claim some sort of understanding on Prince Ahmed's return, but don't know the details. He apparently had been seeking assurances from his brother, the king, that he could return without fear for his safety. Even with such a guarantee, that seems an extremely risky venture, as Khashoggi himself had repeatedly been offered assurances of safe return from exile before his sudden murder and dismemberment by Saudi forces. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports drug policy reformers claimed victory in Mexico City Wednesday after the country's Supreme Court handed down 2 rulings legalizing cannabis for all forms of non-commercial adult use. Froilan Enciso, a drug policy researcher at Mexico's Social Sciences Institute, the CIDE, told UPI, the rulings pave the way for adults to use marijuana in any way they see fit. We aren't just talking about recreational use. In the first case, a plaintiff wanting to grow his own cannabis applied to the court for an amparo, a form of constitutional protection from prosecution, so that he can plant, cultivate, harvest, prepare, process, and transport cannabis. In the second case, another plaintiff also applied for an amparo to consume cannabis for recreational purposes. The 2 different plaintiffs aim to declare unconstitutional Mexico's federal health and penal laws concerning the use of cannabis for non-medical purposes. The rulings come after years of strategic litigation by Mexican drug policy activists starting in 2015. Unlike the United States, Mexican federal law requires 5 consecutive rulings on the same issue and in the same direction to create jurisprudence, eventually declaring a law unconstitutional. The next step towards legalizing cannabis for non-commercial purposes in Mexico is that the Supreme Court must inform Mexico's Congress within 90 days that prohibiting adult use is unconstitutional. Congress then has to reform the laws the court found unconstitutional. If Congress does not act, every adult prosecuted for using cannabis can also apply for protection from the judicial system. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports a 53-year-old woman survived 6 days in the Arizona desert on grass and water after crashing her car before being rescued by a rancher and highway worker who were chasing a cow, according to police and local media. The woman, whose name was not disclosed, lost control of her car on October 12th on a rain-slicked road near Wickenburg, Arizona, about 65 miles north of Phoenix, according to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. The car plunged about 50 feet down a ravine, landing in a mesquite tree where it remained suspended above the ground. Seriously injured from the crash, the woman remained in the car for several days before climbing out and trying to walk to a nearby railway line for help. The DPS said she made it about 500 yards before collapsing in a dry riverbed. On October 18th, rancher David Morales and a road maintenance crew were working to corral a cow on U.S. Highway 60 when they noticed a break in the fence near the road. They saw the mangled car below, and when they climbed down, found footprints leading from the vehicle. They followed the tracks and discovered the severely dehydrated woman, her eyes swollen, wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops, suffering from broken hips, a dislocated shoulder, and a head injury. Rescuers called for a helicopter, and the woman was airlifted to a hospital. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The Department of Health and Human Services has issued a new ban preventing the nation's saunas from any further use of tanning salons. The ruling was made after a study found that saunas are exposed to roughly 5,000 times more UV radiation each year than the average American.
They are at a very high risk of developing melanoma and orangey leathery skin. Saunas, you are tan enough.
Let us tan. The nation's saunas have reacted negatively to the ban.
I don't care what the government says. I just won $15 in scratches, so I'm getting a freaking tan. This sucks.
None of us have time for this shit. We've got Tammys at home to raise.
In an Onion News Network poll of saunas across the country, more than 30% argued that a pale complexion will negatively affect the size of their tips at Ruby Tuesdays. And more than half have said that their boyfriend's dentist liked them tan. And he's the father of their second child, so they want him to stick around.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, kicking off the second hour of the live Thursday edition. It's Mark with you.
Michael.
And Chris.
The call-in line, should you wish to call in, is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And whatever it is you want to talk about, that meme you saw on Facebook that made you angry today, whatever it is, just go ahead. We were talking about the U.S. tumbling down freedom charts and declining internet freedoms here in the previous hour. Let's go to the phones. We've got Tom calling in from New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
One key clause in the 14th Amendment, the citizenship clause, has been big in the news today.
Oh, yes, it has, yeah.
Because of Donald Trump wanting to deny birthright citizenship to certain persons who were born in the USA, to persons who were undocumented migrants. And the citizenship clause, of course, says all persons born or naturalized in the United States, comma, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, comma, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside, period. And a historical reference to that, if you take a look at the U.S. Constitution, Article 3, Section 2, that refers to the United States in the plural, where it speaks of their authority. Section 3, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies. The United States were referred to in the plural right through to the 13th Amendment, which speaks of their jurisdiction. And in the 14th Amendment, it was no longer correct to speak of the United States in the plural, but it would be inconsistent to speak of the United States in the singular. And so they danced around whether the United States are plural or the United States is singular by using the phrase, the jurisdiction thereof, which can mean either singular or plural.
Sure, that's dancing around
it. The 18th Amendment does the same thing, where it speaks of any place subject to the jurisdiction thereof, alcohol prohibition, because it was right during the war between the states when that was getting settled and people are finally figuring out that the South is
alcohol
not
prohibition was well after the war between the states.
That's correct, and that's why they had to use the singular for the and therefore they said the jurisdiction thereof, because it would no longer be correct to speak of the United States in the plural, and it would be inconsistent to speak of its jurisdiction.
Are you saying that something happened in the 14th Amendment that changed the role and powers of the federal and state governments?
Something happened in the mindset of people in the war settled. They stopped calling the United States they and started calling the United States it. The United States is rather than are.
I was just talking to a friend about this, and the idea is what he was trying to do is get solidified in his mind what a state is. And by state, what he was talking about was an organization that claims a monopoly privilege on the use of violence over a given landmass. Okay. And that's what Barack Obama called a nation state, and it's a pretty good definition. You just go look it up on YouTube. It's right there. You don't have to take my word for it. Don't believe things that people on radio and television tell you. Look them up yourself. But, an organization that claims monopoly privilege of the use of violence in a given landmass. Now, it's a little complicated and there's a lot of fleshing out. But basically, a state is a government, but it's a kind of government, the most common kind by far that we've had historically, but it's a form of government that says we're going to provide a certain amount of services and you will not compete against us in that area. And if you do, you'll be lucky to survive, right? Like that's what a state does. And now, hold on. So, if you go to Europe and you use the term state, they know exactly what you mean when you say state. You mean a government.
Right.
But here in the United States, if you say a state, that just means you've driven to Georgia, right?
Alabama.
Right, or whatever. You're just referring to a place.
And a lesser part of the whole.
Right. The United States, the federal government, is really no different than the European Union, which is a federation of European states.
Good analogy.
The United States government is a federation of American states. And there are currently 50 states, and then there the several places that are just basically little peons, little serfdoms that they've conquered, and they really haven't gotten away from that, and they're welfare, they're stuck on the welfare and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Tom. Now, as far as birthright citizenship, I have to point out there is no such thing as citizenship anyway. It's not like some bureaucracy is part of your soul, but there's a lot of bureaucrats who pretend there is such a thing as citizenship. And when you want to get home and you got to cross that line on the map, it's a big help if they're pretending that you're a citizen.
I like to say this. So they ask me, are you a U.S. citizen? And I'll say, yes, the United States claims me as their citizen. And usually they chuckle at that. They realize that there's they could have a longer conversation with me if they wanted to.
You want to mess
and
with
they
them?
don't.
You want to mess with them, you say, oh, by the way, that passport's not really mine. And their eyes bulge, what? And then, it says on page 5, it's the property of the United States.
Right.
And,
yeah, that's what mine says.
Yeah, and
they're referring to you, Michael, not the passport.
What was the purpose?
They're saying the person.
The person whose picture herein belongs to us.
I'm going to go grab my passport during the break, and then we'll have a conversation about that.
There we go.
Can I go on to point out that when I came back on October 3rd, by the way, I arrived at Newark, and I said, what was the purpose of your trip? I wasn't aware a United States citizen needed a reason to travel. And he's giving me, he was ready for me, by the way. And I went there because I felt like it. What did you do there? I obeyed the laws.
Good.
I answered the question. That's what I did while I was there. Okay, and now, so he goes through the whole detailed list of fruits or vegetables. Are you transporting more than $10,000? Or the whole list, all these things that the declaration form asked, and I answered them one at a time. He stamped it and sent me on my way, and he wasn't going to let me get on his nerves that way.
Unbelievable.
And sent me down to customs to go get my luggage and everything. So
he's like, I don't get paid enough for this.
Right, but he basically asked you all the same questions that you filled out a form under penalty of perjury. Half hour before? Maybe you were sitting on your flight filling it out. Same thing, right?
Yeah. And then they want me to go through this learn a new computer system so I can do their work for them and answer all these questions and put my passport in this way. I said no. I'm bringing my passport up to the agent, and I'm going to do what let them do their own work.
Right.
My doing their work for them. But
let's talk about this birthright citizenship thing real quick. You mentioned it in the news and all that. First off, I think that Trump can claim authority to stop birthright citizenship if he can claim that there's a threat to the United States in the process. And if with a conservative SCOTUS, he can then then they'll pass it through. Because as chief executive, all he has to that's his job, right? He's there to protect the nation. I am the decider. He can get away with it if they make that argument. However, I've got to say, I think the idea of birthright citizenship has long since, outlived its usefulness. I think that there should be criteria for being a U.S. citizen, and I don't give a crap what plot of land you were born on. At the very least, we're talking about people who are able to run for office, able to vote, have to pay taxes. Look, you want to opt into this system, and that sounds great. Let's have all those things.
Sure.
Well, freedom, liberty is an unalienable right that everybody has, and that includes the right to live in the United States. However, eligibility to be a member of Congress, eligibility to be on a jury, any kind of discharging governmental authority can require citizenship, in my humble opinion, which is, of course, the only opinion that matters.
And in some constitutional opinions and court decisions.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for the call, Tom. The number, you're welcome to give your opinion, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live Thursday edition. Mark with you.
Michael.
And Chris.
The number, should you wish to call in, discuss important and pertinent facts like the declining internet freedom in the world, the U.S. tumbling down world freedom charts, and, this new naturalized citizen thing, this new, birthright citizenship. That's the term we're using. Birthright citizenship thing that Trump's talking about. You're welcome to do so. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones. Well, before we go to the phones, terribly sorry. I want to talk to you about Blink. home security system. So I've got this Blink home security system. Not only do we have it here at the studio, but we've also got one at my house. And it worked fine, flawlessly while I was on vacation, taking a train trip across the U.S. I'll tell you guys about that if you want. You know, we had a 30-day rail pass by Amtrak, and whenever something would move in my living room at the designated times, got a notification.
And you were able to just look on your phone and
just
see?
Look at my phone and see if I had internet. There was one time when I got a notification. I'm sitting in Glacier National Park.
You don't have internet there.
Yeah. Well, I had just enough cell coverage to get a notification.
Right.
But not enough to look at the video. So, yeah, whatever. You know, you're going to need internet. That's one of the criteria for Blink, but it's an awesome setup, and I think it's great. You go to, they've got their live feed option lets you monitor whatever's happening at your house right now. So I could go and turn on the camera, get the little LED light would stream, and I'd be able to see several different areas of my house. From your smartphone, you can look at it right there from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscription. Blink works with Alexa. You get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off if you go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. If you don't go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, how are you going to get that 15% discount? You're not. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
So, you were about to take a phone call.
I was. That phone call is Bad Slave calling in from New Hampshire. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi. First off, all of us have agreed, I think, that citizenship is a, pig in a poke. It's not good news.
What is a pig in a poke?
Pig in a poke. It's the same thing as not looking at a horse's teeth.
Some kind of snack you got at the Iowa State Fair?
It sounds good if it's a snack I got at the Iowa State Fair.
Right.
Yeah, I'm down.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like you don't know what's there, and
people love the citizenship idea, but they don't know what it means. So, what does it mean?
No, it's to me, it's perfectly hypocritical. See, I think we're all sovereigns.
Okay.
Individually sovereigns. That the source of our power is our individuality.
I was told
and if we are
in civics class,
then we are not citizens.
I was told in civics class that we are all basically kings of our own domain. That was the idea of America, that we would all be these little sovereigns doing this little sovereign stuff. That would no longer do you have the feudalism of yore. Now we have freedom, property ownership, and these sorts of things. And I'll agree that I think that the system of property ownership that was developed in the United States, that period of time, that yes, there was some significant more freedom than perhaps we even enjoy today. But this thing that rose out of it, I remember, John Adams, during his presidency, they put together a treaty with the Barbary Pirates. And in that treaty, they mentioned the subjects of the United States. Now, they don't use that terminology at all anymore. They use citizen. But I'd say that citizen and subject, there is no difference. So citizen by definition means a person who dwells in a city. Clearly, a U.S. citizen living in the country is not a citizen by that definition.
And the reason they use the word subject in the first place is because you are subject to their jurisdiction.
Yes. Cops even use it all the time. Cops will say, "Well, the subject is proceeding down the street." Right? I mean, they're calling you a subject all of the time. You're a subject, and that's the end of that story. I'd say that citizen, if you really want to apply it, is a kinder, gentler serfdom.
Yeah.
That slavery over time has morphed from basically having the power of life and death over a person to having a power over their work and breeding habits and these sorts of things, to what do we have today, which is you could do what you want, but if you make money doing what you want, you have to give us money. You have to give us part of that money.
Right.
If you don't make money doing what you want, then we'll give you money. from the other people that we took the money from. And that's how this works.
Yeah.
And that all is wrong. And that all is unacceptable in my book, okay? In Bad Slave's world.
You are a bad slave.
And well, there you go. And one other thing beyond that, do you understand the jury system? Both of them, Grand and Pettit, are people operating from that sovereign power.
Sure. I mean, that makes the idea is that, the idea of the government is that we, the people, instituted it. So they have juries for the purpose of, enforcing these laws. The laws come from the people.
Of the people actually exercising their personal individual power of sovereignty. And if people approached juries, both Grand and Pettit, with that idea, and that the any agent that comes in, a prosecutor, a judge, a cop, anybody that comes into that jury is speaking to the masters.
They don't do that.
Right. Not at all.
Well, and basically, a jury, once impaneled, is got immense powers to actually indict anyone.
Well, a grand jury would, right?
Yeah.
Not a Pettit jury.
I mean, right. Well, yes, the grand juries.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah, a grand jury is an incredibly powerful force, but it is the lawyers, the prosecutors understand that thoroughly, and they act like very authoritarian tour guides through this world of legal stuff. Like, you're only going to learn the things we're going to have you learn. You're not going to go any further.
We don't want to be here any more than you do. We're going to get you in and out real quick before you start asking questions.
The actual powers of a grand jury that were meant to be, from prior to, the United States. I mean, back in England, those juries had the power to actually indict the mayor.
Right.
Or
they could go after the prosecutor standing in front of them if they wanted to.
Right. That's exactly what
Thank you for the call, Bad Slave.
job that they were supposed to.
Free Talk Live.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if the social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's rightsocial.net.
Rightsocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
Rightsocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
Rightsocial.net, the right place to be.
We all have heard about the benefits of fish oils, but what about the presence of heavy metals, PCBs, dioxins, furans, and other contaminants found in fatty tissues of fish? GCNteam.com recognizes this risk and offers IFOS certified tested omega-3 fatty acids. EPA, DHA insist on IFOS omega-3 fatty acid certification. Get the best at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Live Thursday edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And Michael.
And Chris.
You can call in, talk about what you want. We were talking about this birthright citizenship, the power of grand juries. But you can control the show here on Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I got a little blurb here that I wanted to talk to you guys about. From theatlantic.com, and they've had some really great reporting over the last 5 years. I love The Atlantic and the presence they've taken on the internet. I don't always agree with their sort of editorial stance. It's pretty clear. But nonetheless, I don't always agree with anybody's editorial stance. Let's be serious here. But this one amuses me. Teens are protesting in-class presentations.
They're what?
Some students say having to speak in front of the
people?
Class.
Oh my gosh, the humility
is an unreasonable burden for those with anxiety and are demanding an alternative options.
But my feels
stress.
Right.
Oh geez.
So, what's you've been told your whole life, what's the number one fear? Public speaking.
Public speaking.
Number two is death, right? So public speaking is worse than dying. I don't know that any of that is true.
I don't think
but
so.
I do know that the idea of giving a presentation, and I think it was in 5th grade that we had to do our first one in front of the class.
Right.
It was terrifying.
Just first ones are. I mean, it is tough to get up in front of people. And if you've never done it before, I remember that feeling, that pit of the stomach,
it's
the
terrifying.
Butterflies. It's terrifying.
I don't remember anybody passing out and falling down. I don't remember anybody clamming up and just being unable to speak. Not to say those things haven't happened in classes around the U.S., but
you get the butterflies in the stomach when you're in 5th grade and you have to go up on the stage and do your little thing. But and it even happens today. We have a co-host who gets butterflies coming on the radio. So
I nearly passed out the first time that I was on the radio, Oldies 108 in Sarasota, Florida, and they had sent some school supplies to some kids in Haiti, We've done a little fundraiser, got some school supplies, sent them off, boxes of pens and papers and all these things. We wanted these kids in Haiti to have as much. This is all before all the Haitian problems that existed. And I took it down there because it was my client that we had done this with, and I flew in an American Eagle. Well, that was the brand, but I mean the plane that was called an American Eagle, the ones that had those problems back in the 80s. And I delivered this stuff. I went down there. I went to Hospitals Haupert Schweitzer in Deschamps, Haiti, and I came back to report on it, and the report was terrible, right? I could barely string two sentences together. But I did it, and here I am on the radio, call it 20 years later, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, growth can be had from your anxiety. And nothing, very, very little in this world will make me so angry as somebody who demands their own prison. Right. That demands their own limitations.
But they do
That's a good way to put it.
It is. It's so short-sighted. Public speaking or being able to at least give a presentation in, say, a conference room is one of those things that is going to benefit you.
Yeah.
And because you're a child and you don't feel comfortable doing it, this is why you should homeschool kids.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, this is... I would say that is one of the few things that school did for me. Is that, having to give a speech in front of a small group.
Right.
This is something that you need to be able to do as an adult.
Right. What I'm saying is...
I don't care if you're a mechanic or a master of business,
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that we have anxieties when we're in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade that may not exist and may not be paralyzing, crippling fear when we're entering the job market at 18 or 19 or with kids today at 37, 38 years old.
Yep. I think that I go a step further. You don't have that paralyzing fear at kindergarten, and they should bring kids to the front of the class more often so that they're not dealing with these problems. The failing with school is that you get this 3-minute speech that you have to do in 5th grade on, some aspect of World War II. That's what it was for us. I picked kamikaze pilots. Who doesn't like that? That's pretty compelling stuff. I had no idea what it was. Now I do. Sacred
Money
Wind,
well spent.
just in case you wanted to know. If they brought kids up more often, they wouldn't have these problems as much as they did. But now you've got people are using this disability thing. I've got anxiety. You don't have anxiety. You're just spoiled. You little punk. Get up there and give the speech.
Right. And you're going to hate it. And here's a heads up. You're going to hate it. You're going to feel uncomfortable. But you're not going to die.
Right. And
you're not going to be personally scarred for it.
The only one I remember is my own.
Right.
You know why? Because we're a bunch of self-obsessed primates.
Right.
Right.
Nobody cares about your speech. I barely remember that anybody else did any.
You don't remember that one
I'm sure
kid
they
who
must have, because...
If somebody would have fallen over, busted their head on a chair or something, I certainly would have remembered
gushing.
that.
Right.
That's embarrassing. If somebody wet themselves up there, yes, I would remember that. But I, personally, it's not my shtick to make fun of people for situations like that. So I wouldn't be, I wouldn't, bother somebody that I don't know anybody from grammar school anyway. There's one kid that I talked to on Facebook, one guy I talked to on Facebook that was a kid with me in grammar school. The rest of them I don't remember at all.
Mm-hmm.
But, this whole idea that people are falling back on some made-up mental health issue just really annoys me.
Well, and it devalues issues with mental health. That's kind of where I come from. It just makes it look like a nothing. Everything that's wrong with you is just as silly as that kid saying he can't stand up in front of the class, and it's pathetic.
Right. If one kid can say he's got anxiety and can't stand up in front of the class, and I'm not saying that there's not a kid in America that doesn't have such crippling anxiety.
Oh yeah, that's a real thing, Mark.
Yeah,
no doubt.
That they're going to fall over or whatever.
Pass out, right.
Fine.
Traumatized, sure.
You're going to learn how to do a presentation on video, Tommy.
Right.
You're going to stand there with nobody. Look, I realize I talk to 100,000 people a day. when I'm on the radio. Yeah, the numbers are some nights it's 100,000, other nights it's tens of thousands, whatever.
I rounded up to 400 million a night.
Yeah, that's what it. 400 million to 9 billion people every single evening.
There we go. Good numbers.
But I'm sitting in a room chatting with my friends.
Yeah,
right.
And they just happen to be microphones in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get over it, Tommy. You can do it, buddy.
It doesn't even take very much.
Yeah, and radio's a great example because everybody's awkward the first time you do it.
Yeah.
You have no idea how you're going to fill 3 hours.
You're talking about being a host. I'm talking about being a caller.
Yeah, that's true too.
Being a caller.
Just take some notes, by the way. If you've got some things that you want to say, just jot down 3 or 4 bullet points of notes that you want to cover, and that will, believe me, that'll cover 2 or 3 minutes. And it's our job to make this compelling.
Yeah.
We do the things that the thing you're not supposed to do in radio, which is we take calls on Free Talk Live.
I know.
We take calls about just about anything.
Absolutely. Anyway, it says here for many high school students, giving in-class presentations is a rite of passage. Yes, it is a rite of passage, and it should remain so.
Right.
Obviously,
it's a critical life skill.
Right, going on here, it says, teacher said, coming up for somebody with severe anxiety, having severe, somebody forced me into, I'm sorry, this isn't the teacher. This is one woman recently tweeting, somebody forced me to do a public presentation was the best idea to happen in my life. So this person's claiming that having severe anxiety, being forced to do public presentation was the best thing that ever happened to her.
Face your fears. Ever heard that one, Mark?
Right. Push your boundaries, people.
There you go.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Argue for your limitations, and they are yours.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's a live Thursday edition. Mark with you.
Michael.
And Chris.
Call in, talk about it, whatever you want. We're talking about public speaking, the fear of public speaking. And apparently some students, and, I'm going to go ahead and say it. In the age of snowflakes, some students believing that they can claim mental illness of anxiety. And I'm no psychiatrist, but I just don't believe anxiety really exists. So not on any pervasive level. I get it. Surely, in a world of 9 billion people, somebody's got crippling anxiety. But chances are, if you claim to have crippling anxiety on the internet recently, you're not. Nope. You're not. You don't have crippling anxiety. It's just a self-obsessed a-hole. That's all. And, yeah, I think that we're all better off for having given the speech in front of the class in school.
Certainly.
And as a matter of fact, now that I think of it, I got to figure out some way to get my son to give presentations too. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be a problem. He likes to put on plays that he sort of produces himself. They're awful, but nonetheless, you sit there because, you're a parent. But yeah, and he tries to get all the adults in the room, so I don't think that that'll be that big of a deal.
Yeah, you'll have no trouble there.
So we got a contest going on where we're giving away a Liberty Dollar LD20 coins. Liberty Dollar 2 has released its limited LD20 token, and Free Talk Live's giving away 10 of them. It's a value of $350, and I've gotten a lot of entries, which is great. So all you have to do is each LD2 token is backed by 1 ounce of silver. It's a gorgeous .999 fine silver round, just like Liberty Dollar was famous for. And to enter, just send an email to contest@freetalklive.com. Put LD2 in the subject line and include a number between 1 and 1,000. Again, to enter, send an email to with LD2 in the subject line and include a number between 1 and 1,000. That's your guess. I have randomly selected a number using an online randomizer thing. The winner will be selected, announced on November the 5th. In the event of a tie, the prize will be split. I have not said that you cannot enter if you won in the last 30 days, so by all means, you can.
Mark, we did have a question come up while you were out about this contest.
Yes.
That random number between 1 and 1,000.
Yes.
Do you want that in the subject line or the body?
I want it in the body, but I'm not going to disqualify anybody. As long as they've got those two things, it's fine.
As long as it's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've done both, and it's okay. I'm not like you're gonna follow the instructions. I gotta have I have to have a guess, and I have to know what the guess is about. You just send me a number, I don't know what it is. So anyway, Liberty Dollar 2 will help you set up the wallet to receive your prize. You can find out more at ld2coin.io, ld2coin.io. So, this article from The Atlantic about high schoolers and middle schoolers not wanting to give speeches. Let's see here. It says, with over 90% of hiring managers saying it's important that people have oral communication skills, some educators credit in-class presentations with building essential leadership skills and increasing student confidence, understanding of materials. But in the past few years, students have started calling out in-class presentations as discriminatory to those with anxiety. Nobody, when I was in school, said they had anxiety.
Not once. Not once.
Now, they could say they were anxious.
Oh, yeah.
People.
Yeah, everyone was anxious.
We were all freaking out.
Not one time claimed, I have anxiety, and claimed it as a sort of a mental health issue.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, Mark, because what percentage of children today are on anti-anxiety medications?
Yes.
I mean, the numbers are huge.
I have talked to a young person within the last few years who basically claimed that whatever it was that she didn't want to do, she couldn't do because of her anxiety. She couldn't wash her dishes. She couldn't clean up her clothes. She couldn't do a whole bunch of things, and it was because she had anxiety.
Did you?
No, it's not.
Did you keep a straight face?
I would just say, nope, you're wrong. And you know what happens? They stop talking to you about that, and they go talk to somebody else. They find somebody whom they can enroll in this conversation about their problem. Your problem is that you don't want to be an adult.
I went through this with my son. So he had periods where, he was suffering from crippling anxiety and depression and all these things, as he's 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. And, all the doctor's advice were, well, we need to counsel him, and we need to make sure he's on the right medications and, get those levels right of those chemicals in his mind. And even though we don't know what those chemicals are for him.
Sure.
But it's interesting as time goes on, and I guarantee you a number of parents will back me up. You start to dig and you find out it's about a girl.
That's facepalm number one for the evening.
I'd like to say
that was it.
About a girl. You know what's not attractive, gentlemen? Having crippling anxiety. There's a reason that emo was a fad.
Right.
Like, I'd like to complain about skinny jeans, too, but I probably should keep my mouth shut about that. They clearly won that one.
Oh, bye.
CJ calling in from Pennsylvania. CJ, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, how's it going, gentlemen? That
All's
was
well.
a pretty interesting conversation. So I'm probably looking for a little bit of guidance, I guess, if anything.
Sure.
I recently, about 4 months ago, I became, and Mark, you'll know a little bit about this.
All right.
I became an account executive at Cumulus Media.
Oh my. Okay.
And I've been having a great time, and I've been learning a ton.
How long is it?
How
long have you been doing it?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been doing it?
4 months.
Okay.
4 months.
For those not familiar, what exactly is Cumulus Media?
Cumulus Media is the second largest radio company in America right now.
And an account executive is basically a salesperson, somebody who handles the account. We used to use the term ad exec. They'll create the campaign, they'll sell the campaign, they do pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead, CJ.
It's a pretty interesting job. It's not like any other state. I've done some retail in the past, but this is like totally different. This is like business to business sales. This is the real deal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're a professional now, pal.
I know, and I know it's ridiculous, but I'm having a really hard time closing business.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I think maybe it's because I'm not asking the right questions, or I'm asking poor questions during the client needs analysis.
All right.
I've got one real. Well, are you asking them to close the deal?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
yes, that would.
Just wanted to make sure because
so
a lot
one thing is that when you slide the piece of paper across the thing that says this is what you get and this is how much it costs, and then you you have the pen in your hand after you've explained everything that they get, and then you're sliding the cost across to them. You have the pen in your hand, and you say nothing until they say something. Okay? If they say something, you respond to that thing. You don't just stand there like a wide-eyed deer with a pen in your hand. But until they say something, you don't say, hell, and in case maybe you want to sign this or maybe you want to look at it until next week. No. You sit there with the pen in your hand and you look at them, okay? You just look at them. Good. And if they say something, then you answer their question. Second thing is if you don't feel like you're asking the right questions in the need analysis, and this could be the truth, the Radio Advertising Bureau, RAB, I think it's rab.org. Anyway, look up Radio Advertising Bureau, has a certified, CRMT, radio marketing technician? Anyway, the acronym, you can put letters behind your name. The first time in your life, mister, you'll be able to put letters behind your name. You take their little course, and you become a certified radio marketing CRMC consultant, whatever it is. You can write that. I have never done it, mind you, but I could. And they will, they have a great course, It's as good as anything. If it hadn't have been for that, I would have never made it through the process at Clear Channel at the time.
It's interesting.
Yep. So go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I was just going to say one thing that I've found useful when talking. I don't do a whole lot of sales myself, but when talking to other businesses, when I am trying to bring on a new client or whatever, I will ask them just, what is your biggest pain point in your business right now?
That's a really, really, really great question.
Yep.
CJ, I look forward to more calls from you. This is obviously something that I love doing as a sales manager here for Free Talk Live. I certainly don't want to train people for other lines of other companies, but nonetheless, I find this compelling conversation. So thank you for the call. 855, 450 free. I was expecting something more there. Well, what are you going to do?
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,228 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,343. Antiwar.com reports in what appears to be the start of a challenge to the rule of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. His exiled uncle, Prince Ahmed bin Abdulaziz, has reportedly returned to Saudi Arabia from the United Kingdom this week. Prince Ahmed, the younger brother of King Salman, called his nephew toxic in the wake of the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and Saudi sources say he intends to return to challenge the Crown Prince on that basis. Reports claim some sort of understanding on Prince Ahmed's return, but don't know the details. He apparently had been seeking assurances from his brother, the king, that he could return without fear for his safety. Even with such a guarantee, that seems an extremely risky venture, as Khashoggi himself had repeatedly been offered assurances of safe return from exile before his sudden murder and dismemberment by Saudi forces. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports drug policy reformers claimed victory in Mexico City Wednesday after the country's Supreme Court handed down 2 rulings legalizing cannabis for all forms of non-commercial adult use. Froilan Enciso, a drug policy researcher at Mexico's Social Sciences Institute, the CIDE, told UPI, the rulings paved the way for adults to use marijuana in any way they see fit. We aren't just talking about recreational use. In the first case, a plaintiff wanting to grow his own cannabis applied to the court for an amparo, a form of constitutional protection from prosecution, so that he can plant, cultivate, harvest, prepare, process, and transport cannabis. In the second case, another plaintiff also applied for an amparo to consume cannabis for recreational purposes. The 2 different plaintiffs aim to declare unconstitutional Mexico's federal health and penal laws concerning the use of cannabis for non-medical purposes. The rulings come after years of strategic litigation by Mexican drug policy activists starting in 2015. Unlike the United States, Mexican federal law requires 5 consecutive rulings on the same issue and in the same direction to create jurisprudence, eventually declaring a law unconstitutional. The next step towards legalizing cannabis for non-commercial purposes in Mexico is that the Supreme Court must inform Mexico's Congress within 90 days that prohibiting adult use is unconstitutional. Congress then has to reform the laws the court found unconstitutional. If Congress does not act, every adult prosecuted for using cannabis can also apply for protection from the judicial system. Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports a 53-year-old woman survived 6 days in the Arizona desert on grass and water after crashing her car before being rescued by a rancher and highway worker who were chasing a cow, according to police and local media. The woman, whose name was not disclosed, lost control of her car on October 12th on a rain-slicked road near Wickenburg, Arizona, about 65 miles north of Phoenix, according to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. The car plunged about 50 feet down a ravine, landing in a mesquite tree where it remained suspended above the ground. Seriously injured from the crash, the woman remained in the car for several days before climbing out and trying to walk to a nearby railway line for help. The DPS said she made it about 500 yards before collapsing in a dry riverbed. On October 18th, rancher David Morales and a road maintenance crew were working to corral a cow on U.S. Highway 60 when they noticed a break in the fence near the road. They saw the mangled car below, and when they climbed down, found footprints leading from the vehicle. They followed the tracks and discovered the severely dehydrated woman, her eyes swollen, wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops, suffering from broken hips, a dislocated shoulder, and a head injury. Rescuers called for a helicopter, and the woman was airlifted to a hospital. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
According to a report released this week, people who paint themselves silver and pretend to be statues earn, on average, $10 million per year. The Onion sat down with economist Mark Cosgrave to learn more about the money-making potential of this highly lucrative employment path.
There's no more profitable career at the moment. If you compare these positions to other high-paying jobs, say physicians or mechanical engineers, you'll find that those individuals who have outfitted themselves with silver-painted boxes and can move their limbs stiffly as if they were a robot are making literally hundreds of times as much. At this point, I would say that the only job that offers anywhere near that kind of earning potential is dressing up like Batman and allowing people to pose for photos with you. And those guys who play paint buckets like drums have historically done well for themselves. But honestly, the recession hit these professions pretty hard, and a lot of them are only making something like $800,000 a year at this point. It's barely even worth their time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. It's a live Thursday edition. Welcome to call in and talk about whatever's on your mind here. This live edition, we were just talking about, this issue of young people, some young people, not wanting to give the speech in front of the class. Like, I think everybody who went through school had to do this. I mean, in my case, I know that it happened at least twice and really should have happened more often than that. The idea that you can make it through a school year without having to stand up in front of a class for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. I mean, I take them at kindergarten when they have no problem with it at all. I mean, do you remember show and tell?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what this was.
Show and tell.
During the break, I realized we did do presentations in kindergarten. We had show and tell.
I think that was preparation for being up in front of people, having to do some public speaking. You got up in front of the class. You talked about something that you were comfortable with.
Right. The problem is they didn't do it every year. They stopped it after a while. People loved show and tell, and I'm sure that people showed and told a lot of things that they probably shouldn't have, but that's a teacher's job to deal with that stuff.
Right.
And this is my dad's 1911.
Right.
Not since 68 or so.
Oh, later than that. I never took a gun in for show and tell.
I legit wore a cowboy outfit to school more than one time.
Right.
With shiny little pearl pistols. Not that operated. Cap guns.
Real ones.
Cap guns. But, in
we
the
had,
70s.
In the 80s, yeah, we had cap guns in school, but yeah, that would not fly these days.
Yeah, we'd play with them during recess, too.
A story I've told more times than I can count, but if you talk to my high school English teacher, Laura is her name, but she'll tell you about the time when she said in class, "Chris, please put the gun away. We've got to get class started." Because I had brought in a .22 pistol that my dad had picked up, and I wanted to show it to my buddies. Right. It wasn't loaded or anything, but it was just, time to put the gun away.
Time to put the gun away. What else? What other time would it be? So going on here with this story from The Atlantic. Forcing students to present in front of class and give them a choice not to garnered, let's see, I'm sorry, I go back here. This week, a tweet posted by a 15-year-old student declaring, "Stop forcing students to present in front of the class and give them a choice not to," garnered more than 130,000 retweets and nearly 500,000 likes.
Wait, 130, 500,000 or more people read your tweet, but you can't present to 30.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cap.
What?
A similar sentiment tweeted in January also racked up thousands of likes and retweets, and teachers are listening. Stop forcing students. Okay, that's the other one there.
Are you not seeing the irony in this? I love it.
I do. Well, I wasn't always a big public speaker. I know you can. I kind of sort of see where she's coming from in having the anxiety and not wanting to speak in front of people, but that's something you can practice and get over.
I love this one. The obvious attention whore named Amberlicious says, "Teachers, please stop forcing students to present in front of the class and raise their hand in exchange for a good grade. Anxiety is real." Well, Amberlicious, I don't know who you think you're speaking for, but if you've got anxiety, I'm the Queen of England.
This whole story is too ironic not to be from What are you reading from? The Onion?
TheAtlantic.com.
The Atlantic, okay.
Well, that's ironic in itself.
Students who support abolishing in-class presentations argue that forcing students with anxiety to present in front of their peers is not only unfair because they are bound to underperform and receive a lower grade, but it can also cause long-term stress and harm. Okay, so when it comes to a grade, I think that you got to grade generously on the speech.
Yes. You get a certain number of points just for having the guts to get up and get through it.
Yeah. And being able to show that you did some of the work involved.
Yes.
I think that I get how everybody wants to have an A average. You know, like they want the 4.0. Everybody wants the 4.0. You want the 4.0. You're going to have to go the extra mile. You're going to have to learn how to present in front of class. You got to nail it.
Right. But I think if I were a teacher and I knew that everybody was worried about it, everybody's terrified. You got to get up there and you got to speak for 4 minutes. And it's not just the class. It's like, the bigger group or something like that. I'm going to say that if you get up there and you give it a shot, I'm probably going to give you 50 points for doing that.
Out of 100?
Yeah,
I think
out
I'd
of
give you
100.
80.
Really?
I think if you can get through your speech.
Okay, yeah. You see where I'm going.
Without giving up.
Right.
So I'm not talking about passing out. Passing out is legit getting through your speech as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You went up there, soldier, and you passed out. Good on you.
Fine, yeah.
If you stammer your way through it, I think you need to have points off because there's better speeches and worse speeches. But, in my world, an 80% is a C. And if you get, 80% to me would be the minimum threshold for getting up there and doing something.
Yes.
Anything. And then, you have to have done the report, the work that's involved, the back end stuff. Because if you can say that you can't get in front of class and you've got a mental illness, I can say, I'm disorganized.
Right. Exactly.
I just
come
can't
up
get
with
through
a million.
Homework.
Right.
Why should you get a better grade than me if you can hand in homework and I can't? I can't do it. I can't hand in homework. I've got mental issues.
And I guarantee you that's happening. In some school that has happened where, I'm sorry, but Bobby has this level of anxiety about homework, and we've been to his counselor about it, and we've got him on, 16 different types of medication to try to address this. But it would really be helpful if you didn't apply this pressure to him so he can, work on this. I guarantee you that's happening today somewhere.
And the drugging the kids. I mean, now that you bring it up, is how much of the fact that we're pumping these kids full of drugs they probably don't need, when what they actually need is an extra 30 minutes of recess.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. I'm not claiming that somebody can't do homework. There's certainly students out there that will be able to perform at life, but they just can't buckle down for homework. And I also think there's way too much homework.
It's gone nuts.
Kindergartners have homework.
Yeah, and when I was we didn't have homework till 6th grade.
Yeah, I think it was 5th grade.
7th
for us.
maybe.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I think that we had to do a book. We started having to do book reports in 5th grade, and that was the first real homework. All of our math, we didn't have busy work math homework. They didn't send us home with math homework.
Yeah, I never had homework in 4th grade or whatever. Everything was at school and
right.
Homework is an admission that the school cannot teach you.
For us, it was something that I can't remember what grade. We're debating this, but was it 4th, 5th? But I remember being in the grades below that, going, "Man, I can't believe next year we're gonna have to start doing homework." You know what I mean? It was one of those things that we knew about, we just weren't looking forward to.
I think that homework, to some extent, is a valuable skill, right? Like when they hand you at the beginning of the school year, the English teacher says, "Look, we're going to have a major presentation on a work of literature in the United States." That is the kind of thing that you're likely to have to do in real life. That at some point you're going to have to give some kind of presentation on something for work.
Right. No doubt about it. But I'll also say that homework itself is a valuable life skill, because you will not go through life if you have any sort of meaningful employment. I'm not saying you're going to flip burgers and that'll be it. You're not going to need homework. But if you're in a professional, there at some point you're going to find out about something. At the end of the day, you're going to have to read up on it. You're going to have to, figure out how to do the installation, Michael, or, something like that. The next day, you're going to go and you're going to do work in your off-paid, non-working time. And that's kind of like homework.
I guess it is. It's the busy work homework that really annoyed me.
There's a difference. I'd agree with that.
855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. What do you think about our opinions on school?
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Interesting new ad campaign from Applebee's, which is encouraging customers to visit the restaurant ironically.
They're designed to attract young people to Applebee's by inviting them to ridicule its food service and atmosphere. Here, take a look.
What do you guys want to do?
We could go to Applebee's. No, let's seriously go to Applebee's.
Okay.
Look, guys, it's grilled.
It's just like my neighborhood restaurant, only completely geographically non-specific.
Yeah, nothing like a wild time at Applebee's, right?
Applebee's. Wouldn't it be funny to go to Applebee's?
I like
Isn't that persuasive?
Yeah.
But, they're not resting on their laurels. They're adding new menu items designed to be ridiculed outright, like the fajita cordon bleu and the chicken strip explosion.
Those sound ridiculous.
I know, but, so far this has been so successful that Applebee's is actually prepping a second series of ads aimed at customers who enjoy making fun of annoying young people who do things ironically.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Talk Live Thursday edition. Mark with you.
Michael.
And Chris.
Free Talk Live is proud to be a partner with Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it's now easier than ever to give the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pretty easy, right? Giftcards.bitcoin.com. You pick the gift card you want, and be sure to check the gift card you purchase is available in your country. Sorry, we don't decide what countries make legal and what they don't make legal. Follow the instructions on the screen. Make your payment using Bitcoin Cash, your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight. Your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. It's giftcards.bitcoin.com. Applebee's, Domino's, Home Depot, Uber, Hotels.com, Nike, and hundreds more. Giftcards.bitcoin.com. Who says you can't buy what you want with Bitcoin?
With Bitcoin Cash, too. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a big fight between the BTC people, BCH people as to what's what and who's who.
It's not a big fight. Yeah, it is.
It's a big fork.
It is.
I called it World War Geek, and I don't feel like I overstated it.
That's not too far off.
No, I try to be coin agnostic. I'm like the one sole. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do think it has a lot of history and a lot of potential, and I like the direction of it. I like the technical direction it's going in. I did not agree with the Bitcoin Cash fork. I didn't think it was a good idea, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to quit being friends with people that like BCH. Yeah,
it was inevitable, really.
For the last 3-4 years before it happened.
Right. Well, right. There was 3 years, and basically one group of people was telling another group of people, your opinion sucks, and you're not getting what you want. Sit down and shut up.
Right. Or fork it.
We know. Well, yeah, they were saying things like fork it also. Why don't you fork off?
Yeah.
And, well, when they did, well, then they cried and they were mad. And I've got to say that I don't know anything about the tech. I hope the best for all these coins.
I do too.
But I know how human beings work, and I know what an a-hole is.
Don't we all?
And I saw lots and lots of a-holes. Honestly, I saw them on both sides. But I saw
certainly have
more of them on the BTC side than I saw on the sort of the BCH side.
Because you're coming from the BCH point of view, and if you talk to BTC people, they will say the exact same thing in reverse. What are they talking
Usually
about?
They complain about Roger Ver specifically.
Roger's definitely garnered a lot of ire.
And he definitely had some very public, what I would call missteps in the arena. Absolutely. Things that if Roger, maybe, he didn't have a lot of training in how to be the spokesperson for this stuff. Right. When he was Bitcoin Jesus, pushing Bitcoin itself, he did it sort of behind the scenes. He did some TV interviews, those kind of things. But as the sort of Bitcoin Cash guy,
like the only guy out there that was talking to anybody.
Yeah, that's what he was previously. And then, when he became the Bitcoin Cash guy, A, lot of people felt betrayed, and B, Roger felt like he was against the world. And people who feel like they're against the world often take things a bit too far, and need to be reined back. And I think that if you ask him about any specific thing that made you upset about his behavior, likely he would say, yep, I did that and I'm sorry. Because I've seen a lot of videos where he's walked back some things.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
If we have a world where you can't make a mistake, then you don't have much of a world. I can tell you the mistakes are all over there on the BTC side, but no, these people that are very, very partisan, one side or the other, they don't want to acknowledge that their side is, has made mistakes.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I don't want to make this a whole Roger Ver show, but I will say this: the thing that upsets me the most about the BTC people that love to criticize Roger, they'll come out and say, you know what, Roger's just a statist. He's just, one of those guys. He's all for, centralizing
he's
big time
authoritarian.
government.
Because he wants control of Bitcoin Cash. I see.
Not just that, but that he's a flat-out statist. He's not a real libertarian. And you know, I've spoken with Roger more than a couple times, and this is one guy who literally went to jail defying the government. And I don't doubt we can disagree on coins and we can disagree on all this stuff. But he's somebody I look up to, certainly from a liberty point of view. Mm-hmm. And I know what he's been a friend of this show for an awfully long time.
I think that should be irrelevant, honestly.
I know. No, I don't, because there are not that many ways for the message of liberty to get out there in mainstream media.
He's shown his dedication to the message of liberty.
Yes.
That and he has done that by being a friend to Free Talk Live. Yes. However, I don't think that the fact that he's supported Free Talk Live for 5 years, if he comes out and for those of you who are these big Bitcoin Core supporters out there, you need to understand that Ian has had conversations with Roger that he has had with other crypto people, and you know, Ian's communication skills when talking about what he wants to get in the crypto world can sound very adamant.
Right.
Roger immediately saw the value in what Ian would say and would implement it. Would change the way he's doing things.
Right.
We've had other people be like, well, I quit advertising and I'm not paying my bill.
Right.
Because we said, hey, you know, something about your software is not working right.
Right.
So, I
yeah.
I know what good conduct is. Anyway, speaking of bad conduct here.
All right.
Let's go back to the story from The Atlantic about, junior high school students telling us how they should be educated, I think is what it comes down to. Nobody should be forced to do something that makes them uncomfortable, says Ulna, a 14-year-old in 8th grade, who, like all students quoted, asked to be referred to only by her first name. Even though speaking in front of class is supposed to build your confidence, it's part of schoolwork, I think if a student is really unsettled and anxious because of you should probably make it something less stressful. School isn't supposed to something a student should feel. Okay. How can I know as a teacher whether somebody is really unsettled and anxious or just saying they are, Ulna?
They pass out?
That's fine. If you pass out, you're done for the rest of the speech.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Go up and give blood, kids. If you make an easy out, an out like, I self-identify as a person with a mental health issue. Well, then, what am I going to do here?
Right.
Yeah, all right. Let's just remove this from curriculum. I mean, do you self-identify as somebody who's not going to make money in this world too?
Yeah.
Do you self-identify as somebody who's unsuccessful and going to live in their parents' garage? Is that what you do? I don't know.
Maybe some of them do.
This happens.
There are people living in their parents' basements right now.
Right. Listening to this show.
Possibly.
Quite possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
God bless them. They're different. They're special. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. Your opinions on kids giving speeches in school? Welcome. It's important. Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. Talking about, well, kids and their opinions on giving speeches in front of class. Kids, what do you think about, I don't know, anything that you do that is unpleasant and distasteful? What do you think about having to eat your vegetables? I don't think anybody should be forced to do anything that they don't want to do. That's a direct quote from Alna, 14.
Nobody should have to eat their beans.
Well, there's something that's good for you. It's not as bad as eating beans. If you don't like beans, I like beans fine. Eating beans is a pleasure for as far as I'm concerned. You know, you can add butter and pepper to them, and suddenly they're delicious. But a lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. He's a New York Times best-selling author, has written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. And since September 2013, he's been putting on the Tom Woods Show every single day, over 1,200 episodes so far. Guests including Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more with topics like war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, FDA, Austrian economics, and many subjects that are of interest to libertarians. You can find the Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com. He just thanked me today for the listeners we've sent his way.
He really knows his stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I think he's great.
And he tastes good with butter and pepper.
That's right. Tom Woods Show is on your favorite pod catcher. That's all of them. I mean, Tom Woods, big time.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, it's great. I'd love to know what his download numbers are compared to ours, but I'm not going to tell you mine.
I don't think we want to.
Oh, let's go to Sarah calling in from, you guessed it, New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I just want to mention that they're going to build a $15 million brand new library and a $10 million police station in a poorer part of Albuquerque.
Is that good or bad?
Well, you know what? It's a big deal. I mean, because I used to live in that district, and it's Pat Davis's district. You know the
no,
one.
No, I don't.
No idea.
No. There's 435 liars and thieves in the House of Representatives, and I presume you're talking about them. I can't even name the ones in the Senate. There's only 100 of them. That's less than a quarter.
No, this is this is a city councilor.
Oh God! You wanted me to know a city councilor of Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Come on, Mark. You should have these memorized by now. Nope, we don't. We're not
47,000 of them.
So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to make is that he was a homosexual. My whole point is that he was a homosexual that ran in the primary for Congress.
Okay.
And then
as an out homosexual.
Well, who cares if he's a homosexual?
I don't care, but I'm just
clicking. Wait a minute. Let me get to you guys are. Let me get to my thought here.
Okay.
My whole point is you keep interrupting me. Okay.
Go ahead.
You asked me if I knew who Pat whatever was, and I answered your question.
Well, what I'm saying is that Pat Davis is a homosexual that ran with the primary. But my whole point is that I am looking at accomplishment. I don't care if it's man, woman, transsexual, bisexual, homosexual, what they are. But the library and the police station and the widening of the sidewalk and the light are going on with him in office. And he's the one that's making this happen.
Okay.
He's a big part of it because he covers that district. You know what I mean?
Do you go to the library very often, Sarah? Are you a big library proponent?
Well, the thing is, the library was going to be built in a more wealthier neighborhood. They were always going to.
No, I just asked if you went to the library.
Do you go to the library?
The thing is, I go to the library all the time to pick up. You know what? That's where the voters guides are. That's where the voter registration cards are at, and that's where the political who's directory.
Do you find that there are a lot of homeless people hanging around the library? Do you find that where you live?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, quite enough.
I think that's why a lot of people don't want to go. I think that's why libraries. This is one of these problems where it self-perpetuates.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a public space, you can't kick people out. And if you're a space for everybody, then you can't kick people out. So then you get the
tragedy of the commons.
Disreputable people. You get some guy who's got some kind of mental illness. He can't work. He smells like urine. He talks in loud voices. He's got Tourette's syndrome. He screams obscenities. Whatever it is that he's got going on
to himself.
And then you can't really do anything with the guy.
Right.
And you can kick him out today, but he's allowed to come back tomorrow or whatever. And he keeps on coming back. And then then mommy doesn't want to bring her 3 children because this guy smells like urine and yells obscenities in the library. And what are we going to do about that? And so the more guys who show up who have these similar problems, they show up. Fewer and fewer families come, and then it just keeps on spiraling downward.
Well, and because these are publicly funded, usually there's a bond on the ballot where you live, or maybe it's a warrant article like we have here in New Hampshire that says, shall we give the library $15,000 for operations next year?
Yeah.
And oftentimes those are drying up. It's interesting. There's the phrase "the free library." I'm not sure if that's just in reference to who's allowed to come there, like anybody can. Philadelphia
term free library.
Yeah, I just don't know exactly what that means.
If there's no membership fee or anything like that.
Right.
Is that that's all it is? Okay.
Yeah, I don't care if a city councilor, what particular proclivities they may have in the bedroom. I do care if they keep on dumping money into, failed government programs.
Right.
And we can't even, we're not even allowed to articulate what the failed government programs are. You're not allowed to say libraries stink, because if you do, then you're saying librarians stink. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that librarians are great people.
And reading's bad.
You can't
you're
say
saying that too.
Right. You can't say that public schools stink because what you're saying is public school teachers are evil people. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we have a demonstrably failed system that that's been replaced over time with other systems, that we probably could do something better. I think that there are bookstores in America that sell used books at such low prices that if we got rid of libraries, it'd be just fine.
I think libraries would always continue, just because there's a lot of people that really appreciate especially local libraries. They love that they have a library, and I think it's sort of like PBS. I think PBS would continue without government funding. I think public libraries.
Would people just give money to libraries?
Oh, yeah.
Go
Make
ahead,
donations. Yeah, and that happens in our small town. There's a couple people that there are grants, there are different funds that keep this thing floating, and there is a little bit of taxpayer money that comes in for the big stuff, for putting a new roof on it. Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
Well, I have a theory is that they fought so hard to put this in that poor neighborhood because they want the poor people to be stupid, illiterate, and uneducated.
Hold on, wait. What they fight for? They fought hard for what?
They make sure they make sure that the poor neighborhoods, you only get a very small, tiny library. This is done on purpose. They fight them. They fight them so hard to get a big library, like $10 million.
See, now,
are they only getting a small library then?
Well, they already have a very small, tiny library.
So they're getting a bigger one.
But they're going to get another $10 million big one. But the whole point is they use that the homeless. Oh, it's a poor neighborhood. There's going to be just homeless people piled up there. Yeah. But they want that community to be illiterate, uneducated, have no access to computers. They have free computers, at least like 20 of them. They have a bigger computer. I mean, they have a bigger library. They're going to have like 30 free computers for the community. But they want
maybe they just don't want a pickup joint for the locals, pedophiles.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The bulk of that money, that $10 million, isn't going towards books and computers. It's going to go towards making a really pretty building that those city councilors can put their name on and say, look what great people we are.
And don't forget that building's going to have to be refurbished 10 times as often as a private residence. Because,
exactly.
Government employees are working in it. Thanks for the call, Sarah. The number's 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
The Liberty Dollar was so successful that the United States government had to take it down, and its founder, Bernard von Nothaus. Now Bernard's son Extra has launched Liberty Dollar 2. LD2 is a cryptocurrency, but each token is backed by the same gorgeous fine silver rounds that Liberty Dollar has always been known for. Your silver is secured in an audited vault and can be redeemed at any time. There's only a few thousand LD2 Zero tokens left in the crowd sale at ld2coin.io. Get yours. ld2coin.io.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Final segment of Free Talk Live. I think you could get a call in here if you wanted to. The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And you can't claim that when I'm in the first chair that I don't make more, like I'm not more clear on what it is I believe. I get an opportunity to really yik-yak here in the first chair and, saying homeless people smell like urine. I mean, you name it. I've run the gamut this
You're
evening.
not saying anything we don't already know.
Well, I can tell you that some people do not like when I am in the first chair because I express myself. And I'm not just comic relief anymore making fun of Ian. I got to run my own radio program, and I got some opinions on how things are going.
If you don't like Mark's opinions, give us a call right now.
Here's another one of my opinions. Alistair is a better person than you. I want to thank Alistair for being a gold amplifier, and supporting Free Talk Live for a long time. You go to amp.freetalklive.com, support Free Talk Live financially, and anybody who supports Free Talk Live in any way, whether you're sharing stuff on Facebook or using shop.freetalklive.com, any variety of ways that one can supports Free Talk Live, I really appreciate it. But the amplifiers, they get special consideration, right? Like we go and ask questions to the amplifiers about how we're going to run the show. Amplifiers are an important part of Free Talk Live.
I think one thing that we don't mention enough about the AMP program is that money is not paying for my Starbucks and my Dunkin' Donuts and all that. It's going directly toward promoting the show to get new radio stations on, more internet listeners, and so on.
Yeah. It's directly spreading the ideas of liberty by going to amp.freetalklive.com. Now, I want to finish up with this story we got from The Atlantic here and get some of these ideas out of these young people. Obviously, I don't agree with them, but their feeling is that, well, let me read it here. Quoting, it feels like presentations are often more graded on delivery when someone can't help not being able to deliver it well, even if the content is the best presentation ever, says Bennett, 15-year-old of Massachusetts, who strongly agrees with the idea that teachers should offer alternative options for students who have anxiety surrounding presentations. Teachers grade on public speaking, which people who have anxiety can't be great at. Okay. First off, I agree. I don't think that I don't think that the public speaking should be graded more on your ability to speak. If you get up there and you deliver a speech that is coherent, it's not just a bunch of gobbly words.
Right.
You don't stop and give up. You don't just you're not just vitriolic in the presentation. If you give up there and give it, I feel like you should get a C at the very least.
Yeah.
I do think that people who are good at giving public presentations should get a higher grade on the public presentation. I'm not going to say they shouldn't, but more often graded. I don't know what Bennett means. I don't know what Bennett's experience is. I'm not going to harshly disagree. But alternative? What is an alternative for public speaking?
I can't think of one.
Tweeting?
Yeah. Well, that'll be the argument. The argument. Yeah, I don't like to talk in front of people, but boy, you should see my tirades on Facebook.
Right. Well, I mean, people get paid for Facebook.
Right. And one could argue that that's now a career path.
No. Being a social media manager is.
Yes, or being a social media specialist or... that's certainly
Instagram,
a path.
You can make some money showing your well-toned booty on Instagram. But as far as being a Facebook person, there's not many people that make money by just being a Facebook influencer or whatever.
No, but I'm saying you could get a job working for Pepsi as part of their social media team where you might be crafting things, but that's a whole different set of skills. Sure. It doesn't require public speaking.
We do teach writing in school.
Right, but there's lots of jobs that don't require public speaking. It doesn't mean that public speaking isn't a skill that will come in handy at some point in your career.
Right.
Being
many
at
jobs,
Facebook, that's a pretty narrow band of jobs.
Yeah, I'd say that most jobs don't require public speaking. However, the job above them may very well.
If you want that one.
And many people do.
Sure.
Be like some point in your life, you're not going to do that. Maybe you're an auto mechanic or whatever. But you may figure out some way to fix whatever autos. I said auto mechanic, so autos. Mm-hmm. And there's an opportunity to teach some people. Maybe you go to a little seminar for auto mechanics. I don't know how you get to learn these these new skills. Maybe you can show them in front of the class. Say, look, you're not doing it right. This is a better way to do it.
Yeah, and
that's going to make you pretty important, and it's going to get you paid better.
And I will say this, that public speaking and being able to communicate to more than one person at a time in a coherent manner is part of communications. And communications is a necessary skill in almost everything. And that's not just saying you know how to speak. It means that you can convey thoughts in such a way that other people can understand them. And that, I think, is another thing that you learn by those little things that happen when you're in school, like standing up in front of the whole class.
Yeah. And I feel like falling back on this, I've got anxiety thing. And anxiety is accepted now as a matter of course. If you would have come out in school and said, I have anxiety when I was in school, nobody would have like, what? You mean you're anxious about everything all the time?
Right. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, you
I mean, when you just fall back on this is claiming your own limitations. And I have said previously, and I'll say it again, this is the thing that makes me the most angry. Right. And, I'm just, please stop claiming your own. Here, I got an idea how you can work on your anxiety. Face it.
Right.
Going on here, to the thousands of teens who support the effort to do away with in-class presentations, at least enough to tweet about it, anxiety is no small issue. Students said they understood why older people might tell them to suck it up but doing so is unproductive. Some responses to the most recent viral tweet, though, noted that giving a presentation in spite of anxiety might reduce a student's fear of public speaking. Friday Keefe says, that's because of Halloween. Sorry, it's the Mighty Keefe. Just so you know, exposure therapy is commonly used amongst psychologists as a behavior therapy to treat anxiety disorder. So your point about it can't be cured by facing your fears is just false.
Because that's exactly how they cure it.
Right. I mean, I guess, as a society, we probably should do some level of listening to young people, but not a lot. I mean, no.
How old's your son?
10.
You've learned this way before. You're an early learner. You've learned this way before you should have had to.
And, he's got opinions about everything, and most of them stink. You know why? They're held by somebody who's never had a real job.
Right.
Somebody who's coddled and taken care of, never, had their paid for their own domicile, bought their own food.
Yep.
Now I try to make it easy for Jack to make money. There's no doubt. I try to give him little tasks. I'll often reward him financially for actions that I consider to be positive. He never knows what that reward's going to be or where it's going to come from. That's a little bit surprising, but it's because I won't buy him. I won't let if he wants a certain type of candy that his mother's not going to keep in the house. Airheads is one of them. She doesn't like artificial colors. Laura just hates artificial colors.
Okay.
It's her thing. Whatever. I don't care.
She has anxiety about that.
Yeah. She has unreasonable, unfounded beliefs surrounding it. Anyway, hey, Jack, you want that stuff? It's not a problem. Spend your money on it. I've taught him, take half of your money, you put it away. You put it in a bank account, or depending on what it is, we're talking about crypto, we're working on gold and silver, we're working on these things. He's got a little lockbox for his, his silver coins.
Good.
Mm-hmm. And, half of your money, you put it away. Half of your money, you spend on the things you want. It's your money. You should spend it on the things you want. Now, we can talk about things that last and things that don't. Now, Legos, when you buy those, you can play with them for a long time. However, when you're talking about Airhead candies, they're tasty for a minute, but they're gone. And, well, it's Halloween time, and he's thinking a lot about candy right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's difficult. This is short-term versus long-term thinking, and it's something that I'm trying very hard to instill. And I don't think, kids are not prepared for this stuff. We shouldn't be listening to them on this. I'm sorry.
I hear you.
Kids.
Complete
Public speaking
agreement.
is a good idea. I know it's hard. It wasn't easy for me either. It's been Mark with you on Free Talk Live.
And Michael.
And Chris.
Check us out, freetalklive.com. We'll be back 21 short hours from now. And Friday, I'll be on.
You'll be on.
Yeah, I'll be on with another team. I'm getting you guys out of here.
I don't blame you.
Getting some new ones on.
Good,
Free Talk
man.
Live.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.47 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,228 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,343. Antiwar.com reports in what appears to be the start of a challenge to the rule of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. His exiled uncle, Prince Ahmed bin Abdulaziz, has reportedly returned to Saudi Arabia from the United Kingdom this week. Prince Ahmed, the younger brother of King Salman, called his nephew toxic in the wake of the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and Saudi sources say he intends to return to challenge the Crown Prince on that basis. Reports claim some sort of understanding on